factor that we haven't talked about that you probably couldn't guess? Yes, maybe you could.
Under some type of crisis or stress that just happens, and then spontaneously something happens?
That's close, but not quite. Yes?
As far as technique or method or mode of delivery?
It's a mode of delivery.
Well, Troy is the only way I know of as far as rainbow body, but that's a technique of meditation, so that would just fall into meditation probably.
There's another way. What's the biggest source of energy in our solar system? The sun. That's your hint. That's not your answer.
Light?
By using light. Exactly. Let's call it solar yoga. It's not yoga, but let's call it solar yoga. There's a technique by which you can take in sunlight, using sunlight in combination with a very particular type of meditation to transform yourself and take advantage of the X factor. Now, just for a moment, let's talk about sunlight. Because it's not just light. Now, sometimes when you're doing research in spirituality, you might notice that most of the ancient cultures seem to worship the sun in some form. In ancient Rome and Greece, they had gods for the sun. In the Babylonian tradition, there were gods for the sun. In Christianity, Christ was associated with the sun. In Judaism, there was a form of meditation that's associated with sunlight, taking in sunlight. Even in China and India, there's a solar aspect to worship. There are a number of different aspects to sunlight that help us with the process of evolution, that can also help lead us to a better understanding of the spiritual world. There are things inside of sunlight spiritually that most of us don't know about. So let's talk about them. One thing that's inside of sunlight, obviously, is electromagnetic energy. We call that light. That's the easiest thing to sort of understand about sunlight. When you look at the sun is bright. It gives off energy. But that's just one of the things inside of the sun that is being generated by the sun. The sun also generates something called information factors. What's an information factor? An information factor is pure energy being generated by the sun that contains information about the creation of reality. It's not electromagnetic in nature. And we're going to talk about those factors in a little bit. But they're called information factors. Yes? We're trying to get all this on tape, so I apologize.
I've never heard of information factors. Where did that come from?
Okay. Sorry. That's from a science called cursology. Anybody ever heard that term before? It comes from a combination of two words, cosmic and logos. And also, it's also called cosmic cursology or solar logos. So it's a combination of words that basically means information derived from the sun. Now, this is primarily information that has been passed down to us from the Gnostics. Has everyone heard of the Gnostics before? The Gnostics, especially the Essene Gnostic tradition, was a solar tradition, which essentially taught that human beings are derived from primordial beings that emanate from the sun, and that part of what controls our reality